Welcome, folks. Thanks for joining us today. It is 1 o'clock, so in the essence of starting on time, let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us. Today, we are going to focus in on the Wave 2 release notes and what we can expect to come during this fall and into next spring from Microsoft here. And today's session is going to focus on what's coming for all the CRM applications, so those Dynamics 365 applications. Next Wednesday, if you're around, same time, same place, we're going to talk about the Power Platform enhancements that are coming in Wave 2. So if you are brand new and haven't worked with us before, not one of our clients, we're Boyer. Boyer, we are focused for the last 30 years on helping organizations implement ERP, CRM solutions, specifically Microsoft Power Platform solutions. And so we are happy to be here, happy to share knowledge always with folks to be excited about this exciting platform. So that's a little bit about who we are as an organization. What we're going to do today is, again, talk about what are those things that are coming in Release Wave 2 for Dynamics 365 applications. So we're going to start off talking about the deprecations, the dearly departed. It's spooky Halloween season, so that makes sense. We're going to say goodbye to some things. And then we will get into sales, customer service, field service, project operations, and then customer insights, which is just the fancy name for the marketing application that we have. Again, there's a ton of things in these release waves always. My goal is always to highlight the things that are coming sooner, so things that are going to release in October or already released in October, things that are coming in November and December, but there are also things that are coming in the spring. So I would definitely encourage you to take a look at those release notes, but we're going to focus in what are the things that are available now or coming very soon that we can expect to be in general release or in preview for us in the next coming months here. So yeah, let's talk first about where can you dig into those release notes a little bit deeper? I plug it every time because it's a great tool and I use it myself, and that is the release planner. If you're kind of new to administrating or haven't really been through a release wave before, highly recommend bookmarking this page because this can help you stay on top of everything that's in those release notes. Pinning things that you're like, ooh, this applies to me. I am interested in this. So it's easy to navigate, easy to filter, and again, gives you kind of a more interactive way to work with those release notes because they can be kind of a beast to slog through. So again, this is kind of, in my opinion, an easier tool to work with. And again, see those things that are coming soon, things that are available now for me to play with, interact with, configure for my users to use. So highly recommend, again, bookmarking that tool from Microsoft. All right. So if you sat through with me or have been around this year, agents is really the key. Microsoft has proclaimed this 2025 is the year of AI agents. So been hearing a lot of Copilot and AI. You've probably been hearing that a lot in your personal lives too. AI is coming. AI is here. AI is here, and we're working with agents now. So while we've had personal agents like Copilot, now we're really moving towards organizational agents. So I can take that framework of Copilot Studio and I can build my own agents that can help my users do some daily functions. These are meant to be assistants for my users, assistants for us as administrators to, again, get things done and have these agents that are really going to do some lifting for us, be our helpers, be our co-employees, if you will, building these agents. So again, that theme is continuing on for Wave 2. You're going to see through each one of the apps that we're looking at, pretty much all of them have agents now. So we're going to highlight what those agents can do, how we can configure them, and really there's some exciting stuff here for, again, our users to work hand in hand with these agents. All right, spooky time, not really. Let's talk about deprecations, the dearly departed that we are losing or have lost recently here. If you are using the sales application, you may have used in the past those sales usage reports. Those are going to be going away on December 1st. So they will no longer be in the application. If you're like, I did use that report, it was helpful to me. There is a Power BI report for sales usage. I have the link on the slide here. And again, we'll provide this deck to y'all because I love to put the links to the Microsoft documentation here. So again, if you do have that little light bulb moment or like, ooh, I really want to learn more about this, we've got those links straight to the Microsoft documentation. So you're ready to learn more about it, get it enabled in your own environment. So in this case, here is a link to a Power BI report for sales usage that would be considered a replacement for this functionality. Again, here for a little while, but essentially this is going to be going away. You will see that message across the top of your sales application when you go in there. And again, you will see that link and prodding you to go to Power BI instead to have a report that captures this information in detail. Some other deprecations for the sales application in September, we said goodbye to the full screen Copilot experience in the app. I used it a little bit, but I guess I did kind of rely and got used to that side pane experience. So you used to be able to say, I want to pop the Copilot experience in the sales app open into my full screen. So I just have Copilot take up the whole screen. That's been deprecated. Copilot is still there for you. It's just in that side pane. I think this is just my guess, an effort everywhere you kind of use Copilot and all the Microsoft applications is in that side pane. So I think this is just providing some consistency for Copilot is going to be in that side pane for me, regardless of where I'm working with it. So remove that full screen experience. You still have Copilot there as your assistant to help you. And a couple other things that have been removed here too. There was an out-of-the-box prompt that I could just click that would say show emails that need following up. That prompt has been removed, but that doesn't mean I can't use natural language to ask Copilot to do that. It's just that prompt has been removed. So if you're like, hey, where did that prompt go? It's gone, but we can still type it ourselves. You also can do scheduled prompts. So again, you might want to use that functionality. We can do that with Microsoft Copilot as well. And then there was also a prompt for a document summary feature with documents that lived inside Dynamics 365 Sales. That is also being deprecated. So what Microsoft is recommending there, if you open that document in Word and you have that Microsoft 365 Copilot license, you have a summary feature there within the document. So took it out of the Copilot sales chat functionality, but I still have that functionality. It's just within the Word application itself. So that, again, is something we will be saying goodbye to in October here. For customer service, we have a few deprecations as well. On Halloween, we are saying goodbye to the Dynamics 365 channel integration framework for versions 1 and 2. If this was something that you were using in your outbound configuration for your channel provider, you do have a link to some documentation here on how you can change that configuration to meet the new needs here. December 1st, the omni-channel dashboard experience in Copilot Service Workspace is being deprecated on December 1st, and support will end on December 1st, 2026. So we have 1 year left of kind of this omni-channel dashboard experience, again, in that Copilot Service Workspace. What they're recommending instead is that we transition to the inbox experience and omni-channel real-time analytics report that's in that customer service workspace app. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, once again, have that link to that documentation about what that transition looks like, how you can use this functionality of that inbox experience and omni-channel real-time analytics. For field service, we have a few deprecations as well. So the Dynamics 365 field service integrations are no longer going to be available after a day or two here. Microsoft Outlook add-in, Microsoft Teams app, Microsoft Viva Connections, and Microsoft Planner, those integrations are going to be deprecated in a couple of days here. So an FYI on that. All right, the bummers are out of the way. So now let's talk about what's exciting. What are we getting? So when you look at the release notes, Microsoft always has like, what are the buckets or emphasis of focus for this application? So for sales, the focus is really about having more Copilot and AI-powered innovation. We're going to meet some new agents here. Lead management, helping manage leads. That's a lot of what this sales agent that they're introducing does. So there's some cool functionality here. Sales management and operations is a focus, and also, again, just improving seller experiences. So again, making sure sellers are excited to use the application. It makes their jobs easier. So remember I said 2025, Microsoft has proclaimed the year of agents. So we were introduced that an agent was coming in public preview in May, and it is going to be generally available very soon. October is what we see on the release note. So any day now, we should be seeing that green check coming that it's generally available, but it is available in preview now. So what our sales qualification agent is a way to help me keep my pipeline qualified. So again, I need to keep my pipeline active as a seller, and spending hours each week with hundreds of leads to only maybe book a couple that will turn into an opportunity, and maybe only one of those is actually going to turn into a closed sale. I need some help here. And so that's where this agent, the sales qualification agent, is going to come into play and be my helper as a salesperson. So again, this is going to start autonomously researching information about every lead using data from our CRM, from public websites, and we can even connect it to our company's internal knowledge sources as well. We'll talk more about that as we go through the slides. So the agent is going to engage with our leads. This is especially helpful if I'm an organization, if I get overwhelmed by leads, I have so many leads, we can't work them all effectively. That's where this agent is going to be a great fit for us. So again, it's going to engage with our leads. It's going to start reminding them and following up with them, that kind of keep poking and prodding them until they're ready to start engaging with us more seriously. So they can remind them, they can answer their questions depending on how we configure the agent. And again, it can start understanding the need of this potential customer, the ability and their intent to purchase. It's going to start measuring and looking for analytics and insights on that. These are things that, again, we configure when we say, what is our ideal customer criteria? It's going to show that intent to purchase. It's going to hand off that lead once they see that intent to purchase to our sales team. So again, it's like our little lead assistant to help us qualify those leads smartly and then hand them off to us as sellers when we're ready for them. If they find out this lead is not interested, you can go ahead and disqualify them. So again, it's a way for sellers to not spend time pursuing cold leads. So the agent is going to work on behalf of our teams to autonomously, again, prospect those leads based on our defined selection criteria. So let's talk about what some of these features are. So that AI-powered lead research I was talking about, again, it's going to be combing through our CRM data, can also use public sources as well as, again, those custom knowledge sources I mentioned that we can build in through Copilot Studio. So again, giving me that rich profile of what we're looking at with this lead. So again, we can start making some assessments on who we should work with. And then again, based on that profile criteria, we can define, so what signals am I looking for? What emails are they interacting with? And what recent marketing interactions have they had? All of that can, again, build into that research that AI is going to use to tell us when this is a hot lead that we need to focus on. It's also going to provide instant insights so we can get some recommendations on lead and account summaries or recent company news, competitor insights. This is a way to give sellers some prioritization of, again, this mountain of leads. Which ones should I be focusing on? It's going to give us some instant insights there. We can also configure the agent to do some personalized outreach for us. So the agent can automatically draft and also send those customized emails with key talking points. And again, can remind leads that aren't engaging, can reach out to them again. So again, we're getting some better response rates for our prospecting efforts when we're handing them off to the agent. With the smart engagement with Q&A and intent detection, what this is the agent can send, again, those personalized follow-up emails if we configure it to do that. So again, all about boosting our pipeline's quality as we're working with our sellers here. Easy customization and configuration. Again, as administrators, as sales managers, we can tailor what we want our qualification rules, what we want that profile to look like. And again, we can customize that, adding industry-specific research sources, fine-tuning the agent's handover criteria when we're going to tap our human salespeople and say, hey, this one, we think this one's ready. You should start working with them. Again, if you want to learn more about this, have the link at the bottom of the screen if this is kind of your first exposure to it. It's some really exciting stuff. Now, there is a couple things I want to say about when you're setting up that sales qualification agent. It basically has two modes available to you. And I would say it's kind of like a baby step before I fully trust the robot. So we can set it up as research only. So basically, I'm saying research it. Yeah, give me some details about that lead. Show me what's going on with that information. But the part of it interacting afterwards, I'm not ready for that yet. I don't know if I trust the Copilot agent yet. So I'm only going to turn on research only mode. So it automates that research aspect of lead qualification. Or if you say, you know what, I trust AI. We've been using Copilot. I love agents. We've already dipped our toe in the water. We're going full force. We're going to enable our sales qualification agent to be in research and engage mode. So again, giving some more agency to our agent to act on our behalf, sending those outreach emails, looking for positive intent based on responses. So again, there are some options here for how we want to configure that sales agent. A couple other things I want you to know. You can only have one mode at a time. So I do have to make a decision. And you can change from research only and eventually go to research and engage. So once that trust has been established, and you're like, okay, I trust the agents, let's have them reach out some more. Or we're already underwater here. We have too many leads. We want to go to research and engage. You can go from research only to research and engage, but you can't go backwards. So you can't turn it all on and then say, ooh, let's maybe dial it back a little bit. So if you're toeing the water new to this, I would say set it up as research only, see how it's going. Once that trust has been established, go ahead and upgrade yourself or configure yourself to that research and engage mode. Now, as you're looking at this chart of like what's the difference between these two, there's maybe some terminology here that we need to talk about a little bit. So oh, one other thing I wanted to say as I'm looking through my notes here, you can't delete an agent once it's been configured either. So if you're like, ugh, I really don't like the qualification agent, you would need to reach out to Microsoft to delete it out if you are not happy with its performance. So the terminology, ICP, what does that stand for? ICP stands for Ideal Customer Profile. This is going to be available in either mode, but this is where I set the criteria for what we say the characteristics of our ideal customer are. So this profile I'm creating, that's what the agent is going to use to evaluate leads and determine whether they're a good fit or we should disqualify them. If you see the term BANT, what the heck does BANT mean? BANT stands for Budget, Authority, Need, and Timeline. So again, this is something we're going to use in that engage mode. I can define when we have a framework in place to evaluate leads based on their budget, authority, need, and timeline. So again, the agent is going to use that framework to assess a lead's potential as well. So again, that's something when we're in that more autonomous stage where it can start again identifying and classifying those leads for us based on those configurations that we make as an organization. And then there's also positive interest or purchase interest, basically. So again, this is where the agents can evaluate leads based on their engagement and interest level. And again, this can be a handoff point where we say, hey, they seem really likely to purchase or have a really positive intent here. We're ready for the humans to take over and start having some serious conversations. So this is all very exciting things, lots and lots of detail here. So if you are excited and buried under that lead tsunami, you might be ready to turn on the sales qualification agent and start using it. So there's 3 links to guides here. We have an admin guide on how I can configure it as an administrator. There's a guide for sellers. How do I work and interact with this agent? There's also a link here for supervisors. So when leads get handled by that sales qualification agent, how can I check in on it? How is it doing? So some guides here, again, for sort of all 3 user experiences working with the agent. Highly recommend getting deep into those and getting excited about this agent. Couple other things with the sales qualification agent. This is something that is just enabled, this functionality when you enable the agent. It can link your leads to existing contacts and accounts. Like that has never happened before, right? Like we have these leads and then I find out, oh man, it's already a contact that we've worked with before. Again, the agent is going to help us with that and link us to those existing contacts and accounts where it's finding, hey, this lead, we already know who they are and connecting them. So again, then it can use that enriched information from those linked contact and account records to, again, give us that better picture of that lead. I do have the ability as a seller to say, this is not the same Joe Johnson as this Joe Johnson. So I do have the ability to unlink those if I'm finding Copilot didn't link the right ones together. So you do still have that and that ability to link it to a different Joe Johnson if you find the right one, if it makes a mistake there. So again, some information on this slide down at the bottom about, again, how those leads are handed over. So again, talking about this auto linking piece a little bit as well. So again, this is all functionality that we will see when we enable that sales agent. Another cool thing that this agent does that I know has been a pain point for years with the sellers that I've worked with is this email even a valid email for me to work with? That is baked into the sales qualification agent as well. So it can determine if a lead email is valid, and then it will also categorize it as, is this a work email or is this a personal email? Again, if we see that information and it's incorrect, as a seller, I do have the ability to intervene and say, nope, this is actually a personal email address. So again, we can categorize those ourselves if Copilot makes an oops, but our sales qualification agent, again, is going to help us stop wasting time sending to an email address I know is just going to be a hard bounce because it's not a valid email address. So some great functionality here that I know as sellers, that's the holy grail, right? Don't let me know if that email is just a waste of time. We also, as we mentioned through some of this too, you have that ability to add your own web sources to an agent, right? So the out of the box is going to be generic and public facing website information, but a lot of times you have industry specific needs for your customers and you have a business strategy. So while the sales qualification agent, again, is going to be kind of those broad public insights that it can find on the web, again, I have some industry specific sources or regulatory databases or niche publications I want to use to give my agent some more information that is tailored to our industry. So again, admins, when we're configuring that sales qualification agent, we also have the ability to configure it to add those insights from more specific web sources. So again, that agent is really effective in providing good intel to my salespeople instead of just kind of generic information. So this is a really exciting enhancement that we will be seeing here soon as well. Speaking of, we also have the ability to build our own agents too. So we're going to switch gears a little bit here. So we've been talking about that lead sales qualification agent, but I also have the ability to build my own agents. And so we have some cool enhancements here that we will be seeing in December is what our release notes are telling us. So I have the ability to build an agent for my sales team that maybe can help them with some part of our sales process. We can connect our AI assistants to use ChatGPT or Claude to help us generate those answers and solve some of our problems. So again, what this is really about is creating something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. You might see in some of this Microsoft documentation. So this is going to be a new standard that is going to enable integration between my favorite AI assistants and these agents that we're going to be deploying and using and building in Copilot Studio. So with the sales MCP server, it's basically exposing some functionality to me that I can use with my developers, again, to help me with integration. So with this new server, it's going to expose some tools that I can use. It can list leads for me. It can retrieve lead summaries. It can qualify a lead and change it into an opportunity. So if I'm building my own agents, this is power and functionality that I can give the agency to my agent to perform, that they can do an outreach email. So an example of a sales agent I might build an upsell agent that can prospect for maintenance plans after a field tech visit. So, hey, we noticed you had a leaky water heater. So maybe we should look into a new opportunity here to sell you a new water heater. Creating an agent to target prospects from existing accounts. So again, somebody who's managing that account can schedule meeting with stakeholders like, hey, this might be a good person to interact with. Here's some information about them. I might make an agent to help prioritize the best leads from an event and add others to a nurturing campaign. So again, this is an amazing framework that is just kind of the tip of the iceberg to where we're going. We might end up in a day where I don't really need to build integrations anymore. I'm really building agents across my disparate systems to, again, help my sellers, help my users do what they need to do. So this is all exciting functionality that we're seeing coming in this release. So again, just an example scenario of that new MCP server and what we could use it to do. Again, I might build an agent that after we have an event, again, we have kind of these mountain of leads and things we get from attendees. I want to bulk upload those into Dynamics 365 as sales, but then I might have an agent that can look at the lead record, get a summary, determine if they're a good fit. For each lead that is a good fit, it can draft an outreach email. When a lead responds, it can convert that lead into an opportunity. If a lead confirms interest, we could create a quote in Dynamics 365 Sales. If they approve that quote, or if a seller says, yes, this quote is going through, we could convert it into an order. So we do have that. If you're like, that sounds a lot like what the sales agent does already. Yeah, that one's built for us by Microsoft, but we can also build our own. So again, we're just expanding this framework that we can have more agents and build them ourselves for the specific use cases and business scenarios we have. So I would say the more agents, the merrier. Again, we can use that lead qualification agent, but we can also build our own for sales scenarios as well. Some other cool functionality that we have available now, smart grids. Basically a way, instead of me filtering a view in my dynamic sales app, or really any model-driven app where we have this enabled, I can use natural language to say, I want to find all of my opportunities with an estimated revenue greater than $10,000. You could do that with filters, but it's also easy to just type it out and have my view filter to what I'm looking for. Now, as an administrator, this is something I need to enable in the Power Platform Admin Center. So I can go under and look for natural language grid and view search. Excuse me. It's probably set to users as features become available. So it's in public preview right now. When it's generally available, it will just be available for your users. They'll just see it there. Or if I want to, I could turn it on now if I'm ready and I want to. Or I'm like, I don't know if my users are ready for this. I want to prepare them a little bit more. You could say, I don't want this enabled I want this enabled for no one, and then we could go in and switch it later if we need to. So it is in preview. Some cool functionality should be releasing here within a short period of time. It's promised general availability in October. Some other cool tools that we have here, the ability to take a file or an email or an image and use it to fill in a form for me. You probably have lead forms or you get a business card from someone, and you can use this form fill assist toolbar at the top of your form to basically add that file in. It will read through that file and look for information and then fill out those fields automatically, cutting down on that data entry using AI, which is really cool. I actually just used this myself the other day and was like, oh, this actually worked. I took a picture of my business card, I uploaded it, and then it filled out the lead form with all of that information from my business card. So this is, again, baked in functionality. Once it reads that file, I can decide, yep, accept these suggestions. It got them right. So again, I don't have to retype in something that we already have a file that has this information. Let's just have Copilot and AI fill out the form for me. Some other exciting things coming that has to do with hierarchical visualization. So this is where I get to sound old. Back in my day, we did have this functionality, but it was related to just one table. So I could see an account and its sub-accounts, and I could see contacts that were related. But it was really just within that table, really. I could use the org chart to see those related contacts, but I couldn't do it with any other tables. It was just contacts and accounts basically in that org chart. And then for hierarchy visualization, it was just within the same table. But now we're going to have the ability for administrators to define those hierarchical views. So if I have accounts and contacts and we have locations and asset data all related, I can now choose what I want to define in that visualization for that hierarchical data to, again, give my users an easy way to see how these records are related to each other and across tables. So this is some really cool functionality, again, that we should be expecting very soon here in preview right now. Just got this in August. So again, if you want an overview of the new hierarchy visualization, some cool stuff here. All right, let's talk about customer service. So the buckets for focus in customer service are going to be, again, around administrator experiences, Copilot and AI innovation. Spoiler alert, we're going to see another agent here, a couple agents here actually, and again, enhancing those service representative experiences and supervisor experiences, and also around unified routing with that case assignment. So we have a case management agent. Again, we got a public preview of that in April. It should be generally available here soon. So my case management agent, let's just walk through a scenario here of how it works. I see a chat coming in as a customer service representative. When I click it, it's going to highlight the chat that this customer has been having with our chat agent to begin with. So I get that nice summary as a customer service agent. And it's going to kind of use that smart paste functionality again. It's going to say, okay, well, based on this conversation, I can tell you what the title of the case is, what type it is, the subject of the case. And we're going to start filling in that description with a summary of what's happened in this chat so far. Again, I can decide if I want to keep those or fill them in myself, but it's a nice preview that we get. When the case is ended, I can click the chat to end that particular case. And then what's going to happen is the timeline is going to say, hey, based on you ending that chat and how that chat went, we should resolve this case. So again, it will sort of walk me through. The timeline registers it's best to resolve the case. And then when I say, yep, I will resolve that case, again, everything highlighted in blue is coming from that summary of the chat that I had. So again, it's just sort of documenting and pasting at me so I can just review and approve and move on to the next call. So some really great functionality here. We also have a customer knowledge management agent as well. So this agent is basically going to look at our case resolutions and say, hey, we don't have a knowledge article about this. So I'm going to take the information in this case, the notes and things that were added here, and I'm an agent who's just going to make a knowledge article for this. So in real time, customer service representatives, when they close a case, again, it's helping our contact center respond to maybe some of these emerging issues within minutes. Like, oh, we've already had a case about that. And here's a knowledge article that could help the person down the cube who didn't even know this was a knowledge article because it didn't exist 5 minutes ago. So again, this is a way for us to really shrink that knowledge management life cycle. We can also use historical article creation, again, based on past cases. Again, we can give this agent some agency to publish these articles automatically if we want them to, or again, we can have some of that human intervention to review before we just have it willy-nilly create knowledge articles. So again, just building that trust with our agent. And again, we can choose if we want to enable that automatic publish or not. But again, really cool functionality here. It can remove sensitive information. Like if we were taking screenshots to resolve that case, it can blur out any sensitive data, but still give us that screenshot. So again, we can extend these agents with, again, automated compliance checks from our organization. So again, 2 agents here we're getting in customer service. Hey, remember that MCP protocol that we were talking about a little earlier? Yeah, it's here in customer service too. So same thing, when I'm building my own custom agents, this protocol, this server is going to expose these tools for me to leverage for my own agents. The ability to create or update an account, list all accounts, create or update a case, create a note in a case, list cases, draft an email response, or send an email response. So again, this is kind of just toe in the water, entry scenarios for adding some abilities to my agent. More will be coming. I can promise you that more functionality is coming, but we have some good core functionality here already that we can enhance our agent's agency to do things for us. Also in customer service, we have Copilot email template recommendations as well. So again, as it's looking at emails, it can suggest templates that I maybe want to use as a customer service representative. We also have the ability to add prompts into our template. So this is kind of some cool functionality as well. In templates in the past, I might need some personalization, or I might need my agent to do a little research and say, what is the plan that this person is on? So I would put those things kind of in brackets to sort of indicate like, look, here's the template, but here's where you go off script and you add your own personal touch here. But people sometimes forget to do that or inconsistent responses to that. So instead, I can put in my own prompt. So I might say in my template, prompt to add current warranty and pitch extended warranty. So that prompt is there. So now my customer service agent just selects it, and Copilot is going to, again, get that current warranty information and pitch that extended warranty. And again, it will use that Copilot response. So I don't have to type anything. I'm just going to select that prompt and it's going to fill it in for me in the template. So cool stuff that we have here. In terms of managers, supervisors, we're going to see an enhancement here coming in November. When I use the assign to option on cases, the case owner will be updated, but it's also going to give me some greater visibility without disrupting our unified routing that is running in the background and looking at people's capacity and skill set and reassigning them. But with this release in November, the assign to option, it's going to, when I choose a representative I want to assign it to, it's going to look at their presence and capacity. It's going to validate that. If I've selected someone who doesn't have capacity, it'll just be like, you sure about that? You sure you want to assign it to them? So I do still have a way to say, no, maybe I did pick the wrong one. But again, it's a way for me to update things quickly. Case owner is going to be updated. The work by field will be updated automatically. And again, that representative capacity will be readjusted based on this manual assignment, basically. So it's kind of bringing the unified routing and my ability to manually assign things together. So again, this is some functionality we'll see here in November. Field service, let's talk about this one next. Here, our focus is around boosting technician productivity, optimizing the resource scheduling board, and again, streamlining work order management. There's some nice stuff here when it comes to frontline workers. They will be able to see their bookings directly within Outlook and Teams. So that is huge functionality here because they're probably already using Outlook and Teams, so they're familiar with that interface and working with them. So again, these are going to allow team members and employees to manage their work and personal schedules all in one space. So field service bookings for work orders are going to create appointments in the worker's calendar and provide the extra details, including links into the field service application. But again, I can start using Outlook and Teams to start managing my work orders as opposed to having to go directly into the application. Seamless integration here because again, we're working with all Microsoft tools and it's all going to be real-time updates. So changes to bookings are going to automatically appear within their calendar within minutes. So again, employees will always have that most current information, again, in those tools where they're already working or familiar with working, so they don't have to flip between all the applications. Again, they can kind of go to those home stars of Outlook and Teams. We're also seeing some enhancements for the bookings, the schedule board. Sometimes things get truncated or look a little weird. So now the truncating of text is going to be a little bit cleaner. It's going to redesign how maybe short bookings appear on the schedule board. So again, we can see the text is going to truncate and still be clean and legible. Icons within the booking will still be visible and won't overlap with text. Some problems we've had in the past, and booking titles will always show even when more lines of text can't fit in the booking card. So some enhancements there when we're working with the schedule board. In April this year, they promised a big new schedule board. They released it and then immediately pulled it back. But those enhancements should now be in place here for October. So we have better zooming capabilities for my schedule board folks who are assigning out work orders and making sure where everybody is at. So again, it's going to be better zooming capabilities when I'm working with that schedule board. You've always had the ability to create your own schedule board tab. So the ability for me to personalize how I want my schedule board to look and what I want it to filter to. That was always a pain in the butt to be able to share with someone else. And was a little bit of a lift there. They're making that much easier now, so it's easy for me to share my customized tab with somebody else. Maybe somebody's going to fill in for me, or there's a different way of looking at the data. A lot easier to be sharing those scheduled board tabs. So that's an exciting enhancement there. Streamlining characteristics for skills, and this is just a terminology change, really. So skill is becoming characteristic. Proficiencies are becoming ratings. So just a change in terminology you'll see in the schedule board. And we can now import organizational and unit locations with addresses. So in the past, you had to know the latitude and longitude. You can still capture that if you know it, but a lot of times I don't know that. I know the address. So again, when I'm adding in a new organizational unit, now I can just add in the address. So that's a really nice enhancement too. Some other things enhancing here are keyboard and screen reader support. So again, making field service more accessible for people who use screen readers or don't have a mouse. So it's easier to have full keyboard navigation on subgrids, on opportunity records, actual records, invoices, and quotes. And again, work orders are going to be more friendly with screen readers when it comes to reading dates, some enhancement there too. Project operations, I gotta say, a lot of the stuff is going to be coming in spring of 2026. So I don't have a ton for us to see here coming in fall, but there is some cool stuff here. We got another agent, friends. I love time and expense entry, said no one ever. That's where, again, we can leverage an agent here. So here we have an agent in project operations that's going to look in Outlook calendars and team meetings and again, create some automated submissions of time. Joanna was working in this meeting with this client for an hour. Let's put an hour on her time card towards this particular project that she's working on. So here again, you can see it's going to look out, give me a summary of, hey, based on your calendar and Teams, this is what I'm seeing. I still have the ability to come in here and do some interventions, reclassify things if it was not accurate or correct. Again, it can give me the summaries of things. I can click into them and see the details, reassign them if I need to, and then submit those. When it comes to expenses, I basically just add my receipt. My agent is going to look at that receipt, look at the expense policy that we have, and that expense entry agent, I'm just going to send my receipt to it, and it's going to give me the feedback. And it's going to say, okay, based on those receipts that you sent me, I think it goes to this particular project. Here's the project name, and here's your expense categories. Again, I can review it and approve it and then submit it for approval. So again, I can dive into those expenses, ensure everything is accurate, and again, being tagged to the appropriate project. As a manager, I am the one, or a project manager, I'm the one who can say what that approval policy for expenses is. So that's what the agent will use to confirm that we're truing up there and we're compliant with our expenses policy. And then I have a mode where as a manager, I can say, hey, if everything's falling within this and you approve it, go ahead and automatically approve it for me. Or I can say, give me that summary. I just want to review it one more time with my human eyeballs and make sure everything is accurate. So if I take that option, again, it will classify things for me that need review. And then for things that it's finding there were no issues found, if I have it set to automatically approve, it would do that. Here I have it set to don't automatically approve, but it's showing me those two at the bottom that say, hey, these are ready for your approval if you agree to. So really cool stuff here. Again, this was all stuff that was mentioned in April, but should be coming here in October in general release. Here's one. It's coming, like I said, most of it is in March, as you can see here, is in March of 2026, but we are going to see some approvals or some enhancements, I should say, to the time approvals grid shown in that calendar view when we're working in project operations. So again, I can see a larger number of records all at once. It will highlight relevant information all the way across, so it's a little bit easier to read. And then I have different tabs up across the top for different types of approvals and an indicator of how many approvals in each one of those buckets. So again, just a way to help me prioritize and work through all of my approvals as a project manager. There's a lot of enhancements that are coming in the next few months here when it comes to the mobile app for expense entry. There's going to be some enhancements in October. There's some phase 3 enhancements in November, and then a final enhancement for phase 4 in January. So look for some new enhancements keep coming in every month here when it comes to that expense entry mobile app that we have for project operations. All right, we have just enough time left to talk about my favorite app. You're not supposed to have favorites, but I do like this one. Customer Insights Journeys, our marketing application. Again, Copilot is a focus here. Moments that matter, that real-time touch with things, turbocharging our pipeline, and again, unifying our sales and marketing teams. These are kind of the focus that we see in Wave 2 that Microsoft is putting into the marketing application, Customer Insights Journeys. So some cool things that we have here. This one's been in preview for a while. We've had it since 2024, but it will become generally available this December. And that's the ability to describe the journey that I want my people to go on when it comes to my marketing communications. I can type it out in natural language. I can reference the segment I want it to use, and it will pull all of that together, build the journey for me. Now, again, I have a chance to intervene here, look at the suggested journey, make adjustments and add things. So I'll see that preview that Copilot creates for me. And then again, I can get that detailed summary before I add in my own content, basically adding in my emails, etc. This is something that is enabled in feature swishes. So if you're in the Customer Insights Journeys application, you can go in there and enable this and turn it on if you want to start using it now. Again, link on the bottom of the slide to walk you through what this functionality does. We also have the ability to integrate with voice conversations. So again, a lot of times organizations are looking for new ways to connect with their customers and stand out among all of the messages we get barraged with. So we're here integrating customer insights journeys with a contact center. So you can go beyond kind of traditional marketing tactics, again, leveraging Copilot Studio agents to deliver meaningful, personalized experiences that will boost that customer engagement, hopefully. Again, rather than overwhelming your customers with marketing content and just waiting for them to interact with it to trigger the next best step, we can now engage real-time personalized voice conversations. So again, this is a new solution based on ongoing dialogue. So I maybe am creating a Copilot Studio agent that would alert a customer about a product recall that we've had. I can offer them different solutions around replacements or a refund, and then the results of that conversation then can drive the next action in my journey. So whether that's sending a replacement or issuing a refund or sending an email because there was no response yet. So again, I can get very complex, and again, leveraging an agent here to help some of that messaging for a more personalized approach. Again, that moment that matters when there's a recall, let's reach out and use some of this functionality that we have here. So some cool functionality here as well. This one is nice. Again, this was something that we had in public preview in the spring, but is now going to be generally available here in December, not too far away. Basically, I can say if somebody joins a segment, maybe that's the point for them to go down a different path in my journey. So I can wait until some sort of criteria. And you can get very granular with that segment designer. What is it about Joanna's contact record that when this happens on a Tuesday and it's the full moon, she needs to go in this segment so then she can go down this particular path. So again, I am setting up an if-then branch, just like with anything else. Sometimes those were based on triggers or other conditions that we have. But now one of the things that we can use is, oh, I'm willing to wait for a month. And then if Joanna's data on her contact record changes and she gets added to this segment, now she's going to go down the yes branch. So this is the messaging she should receive. So what actions to take when that person gets added to that segment versus 30 days have passed. That update didn't happen on her record. Now she's going to go down the no path. So it's the same as an if then branch. It's just now I can use membership of a segment to trigger that next journey step. So this is a really nice enhancement too. This is interesting. This is something for compliance, basically, regulatory needs. If you have a need to archive emails that you send to your customers, I, in another lifetime, worked at a university. We had to hold on to those emails around grades or acceptance. So this is a way to offload those. If you ever have that sort of experience, the example on the slide here, you're a financial services company. You need to keep a record of all your client communications. If you just had the template of the email that was sent to everybody in October of 2025, it may not have that personalization or the custom message of the message Joanna received about which program she was enrolled in and when her start date was. But really, with this API export tool, I now have that ability to get the exact copy of the email that we sent to Joanna in October of 2025, and we can offload those into our archiving system. So again, if this is a need that you have for holding those emails for a longer time frame or just holding on to them for regulatory and compliance or operational compliance, this is now functionality that we have and we'll see, again, generally available in December of this year. We also have the ability to create static segments from an upload. This is really kind of cool. So it's a way for me to upload a CSV file up to 200,000 members, which is also a nice increase there. And again, using this API to upload that CSV file and match to existing contacts or leads and then creating a static segment for those people. So I have a list of 200,000 people that I met with at a trade show. I can upload that in. This segment tool is now going to go through and say, oh, yep, you already have 150,000 of these people, but these 50,000 new ones, I'm adding them to the database. And also we have now made this static list of those 150 that were already there, plus these 50 new ones that you've added, and we have them here in that static segment. Microsoft did a preview of this functionality. I was able to see it's really slick. We should see a public preview for that functionality in November, and then general availability hasn't been announced yet, but this is something I am excited about. We also have the ability to automate journey creations. So this is a cool way, again, to use an API to automate journeys. If I have the same sort of messaging that I need to do multiple times, maybe in different languages, I can create a series of journeys just by using existing segments and messages that we already have. So the scenario we have here, the Contoso event team, small group of marketers who organize several major events globally in multiple languages. They need to ensure that each event proceeds seamlessly, including all touch points to the related customer journeys. The real-time journeys API then automatically creates these journeys when you set up a new event and replicates them across all languages. So again, a way to say, I made a new event, now I need this journey. This is kind of the template of the way we always do these journeys. Also do it in all of these different languages. So again, it's just a way of automating at scale some of these larger initiatives we might have, and we can do that with this journey API. Again, that's available now. We can start using this one now. Link to the documentation on the slide on that one. We are also getting the ability to host town halls. If you are doing online events, you have the ability to set up a town hall with 10,000 attendees. I basically configure that setting in Teams, how I want my town hall to behave. And then when I'm setting up an event that's going to be a Teams event, a webinar event, I can choose the town hall type when I'm creating that event. The nice thing about this is at the follow-up, if there's a video that was recorded as part of it, it's going to publish that on-demand video after the event, again, for any attendees who maybe registered and couldn't attend. We also now are getting the ability to streamline event planning with registration periods. I feel like this has been some functionality we've been desperately needing. The ability to say, registration for this event opens in December and closes on December 31st. So I have some time after that registration is closing to finalize things. No more last minute registrations. I can lock people out of registering before or right before an event. I get to decide that, and it's going to see that on our event portal. They'll see, hey, there's an event coming, but the registration window hasn't opened yet, or the registration has passed, so I can't register for it. Once that date has passed, the form for registering for the event automatically becomes disabled, so I don't have to remember to do that. So again, a nice enhancement here. The final thing that we will look at here, we do have the ability to have event registration on our Power Pages. There is now a Power Page event template that we can use, or you have the ability to host that yourselves. Two different links on this slide, one for using Power Pages to host your event registrations. The second link is we want to host it on our own website. Here's how the API works, documentation for your developers. That was everything I wanted to close with. That was everything I wanted to look at. Thanks everyone for attending. I know it was a whirlwind, lots to talk about, but I appreciate you all joining us. I hope you're as excited for some of these things that are coming and you have some new exciting things to check out in the world of Dynamics. Have a great rest of your afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining.